Have you ever been with a guy who has turned on you and raged, you did this and you did that. You're such a, you know what? I know who you really are, you bleep. Well, that's a verbal attack. And it's not just him being angry, it's him trying to make you feel absolutely horrible. So, why do men do this? And even more importantly, why does it even work on us? Now, if you're like me, when you are told that not only did you do something wrong, but you are something wrong, you tend to take it on board. You think, oh gosh, really? And you feel embarrassed of yourself. You may not understand what he's on about, but you feel ashamed nonetheless. That's why those attacks are so successful. What he's hoping for is that you will feel shame, shame that will keep you from responding in an empowered way. He can see his blows land and he wants you to feel bad about yourself. Why? Because then he can control you. Hi, I'm Amy Waterman. I am a love expert here at yourbrilliance.com. And in this video, I want to talk to all of you who've been raged at by a man. Look, it's happened to me too. So let's talk about it and why it happens and how we can deal with it in a way that protects our fragile hearts. When a guy goes off at you, telling you that you're this and you're that, what's your first thought? Is it, that's completely unacceptable. That's not how somebody who loves me behaves. Or is it, oh my God, I'm such a bad person? It doesn't matter how ridiculous his accusations are because you still feel ashamed and you feel horrified that he sees you this way. You feel sick that you're fighting. Everyone thinks you're such a great couple. What if they knew about this? And you can't tell anyone what's going on. Because if you told someone, they would ask you what exactly he said, and you would have to repeat those gross words out loud. It would make them real. And so you just try to forget about it. You try to forget it ever happened in hopes that it will go away. But of course, it doesn't go away because he has seen how well this works on you. And so he does it again and again. Anytime you're getting a little bit too confident or you're asking too much of him, he can bring you right down with a few well-placed accusations. Shame is a very effective form of manipulation. Just think back to your younger days. Remember how guys used to shame girls into doing something they didn't want to do? So if you didn't send him a sexy picture, you were a prude. But the minute you did send one, you were loose. These guys learn from a very young age that shaming works on women because it's our nature as women to want to make people happy and do what's expected of us. We're very susceptible to that message. If you loved me, then you'd do this for me. I don't think any woman reaches adulthood without having been told some terrible things about who she is. Things that are completely untrue. Things that were told to her as a way to control her. And we end up carrying those secrets inside us like poison. We know we shouldn't care what people say about us. We know we should just let it go and forget about it. But you can't take in poison and expect your body to metabolize it. You've got to get it out of you. So you've got to take all of those things that were said about you and give them a good airing. So you can do this in a number of ways. You can make art. Remember those nasty woman memes? You can tell a friend what happened. You can talk to a counselor. You can even share anonymously on a forum. Once those words are out of your body and into the fresh, clean air, they lose their power. They shrink, and you can see how completely ridiculous they are. When a man says horrible things to you, he wants you to feel so ashamed that you will never tell a soul what's going on. Shame researcher Brené Brown writes, shame loves secrecy. The most dangerous thing to do after a shaming experience is hide or bury our story. So when you share that shaming experience with somebody that you can trust to respond in a supportive and empathetic way, the shame evaporates. Think about what you would say to a friend who told you that her guy was saying the same things to her as yours has said to you. Wouldn't you be worried about her? Wouldn't you want to immediately support her? Well, that's the kind of support that's available to you if you can only find the courage to talk about this. You know in your head that this guy is trying to shame you, but that knowledge still doesn't stop you from feeling sick inside. It is gross to listen to a man rage about you. And that's why I recommend that all women carry a shield. It's something that I call the mirror technique, and I've already made a video about it. I will make sure to put up that link. Something that compounds the shame is when you get so triggered that you react back. So you shout back at him and you say things that you know you shouldn't have said. So now you definitely don't want to tell anyone because you're embarrassed of how you responded. I want you to hear a quote by Lundy Bancroft, who's the author of Why Does He Do That? A book that is a must read for any woman dealing with a man like this. He writes, "Your abusive partner doesn't have a problem with his anger. He has a problem with your anger." He continues, "One of the basic human rights that he takes away from you is the right to be angry with him. No matter how badly he treats you, he believes that your voice shouldn't rise and your blood shouldn't boil. The privilege of rage is reserved for him alone. When your anger does jump out of you, as will happen to any abused woman from time to time, he will likely try to jam it back down your throat as quickly as he can. Then he can use your anger against you to prove what an irrational person you are." So when I read that quote, it felt like Lundy Bancroft knew my life. If someone rages at you and you try to fight back, are you at fault because you tried to defend yourself? Once you've dealt with that shame, you can stop feeling so reactive about it. Everything nasty and mean that could be said about you has already been said, and you've talked it through with people you care about, and it doesn't trigger you in the same way anymore. You can listen to his nastiness and feel nothing. You feel detached, like you're watching this grown man make a fool of himself, because you realize what you're seeing now. You're seeing behavior that is not okay, behavior that is not loving, behavior that's actually quite cruel. Do you want to be with someone like that? Now, sure, maybe he has a temper and maybe he gets carried away. But the real question is why he feels entitled to treat you that way. Because if he does feel entitled, there's no hope. But if he is ashamed of how he's behaving and if he feels remorse, then you can get help and you can work through this. I hope that you have the support you need to talk about this. And sometimes our friends just can't do it for us. Sometimes we do need the help of somebody professionally trained in the art of holding space for people and supporting them through their worst times. So if you can, find a counselor who specializes in abusive relationships, and hopefully you can find some low or no cost options in your area. And finally, I just want you to know that I get it. I don't think many of us women have avoided being spoken to like this. Last year, I interviewed Patricia Evans, who's the author of The Verbally Abusive Relationship, and I really, really, really encourage you to watch that one next. And let me know if you have any other questions for me that I could answer in future videos. And please let me know how you're doing. See you next time.